Surely I don't need to introduce Mario. Not only is he probably the world's most famous plumber, he's also a race car driver, athlete, doctor, boxing referee and criminal. One thing Mario is not, however, is a Pokémon. But what if he was? That's the question we're tackling today, as we're giving Mario the full Pokémon treatment, meaning typing, an entire moveset, an ability, a set of base stats, and even a shiny form as a cherry on top. Let's dive in. We're gonna start with Mario's type, and that immediately forces us into a core question for this entire concept. Do Mario's power-ups count as his powers? After all, many of Mario's abilities are derived from the power-up he happens to have on him at that time, and as games like Super Mario 3D World or Mario Bros. Wonder have shown, using these items is not unique to him either. Peach, Luigi, Toad, Daisy and Rosalina have been shown to use them as well. However, I feel like Mario is so ingrained with the concept of transforming and getting his abilities that way, that in order to do justice to his character, we need to include the power-ups as his to use. However, including power-ups doesn't mean Mario isn't still a pretty average, normal guy, all things considered. In his usual form, all he really does is run, jump and maybe swing a hammer around, which are 3 things I can do perfectly fine myself, and I don't see Nintendo dedicating an entire theme park to me anytime soon. Point being, Mario is not that different from you and I, and so we're slapping the normal type on him. What had me really conflicted though was whether he should also have a second type, which would then be fire. After all, it's an element Mario has been consistently associated with throughout his career. While we have just given the green light to the consideration of power-ups, and they will play a huge role when we get to his moveset, I am hesitant to consider them for a potential second type. The reason for that is simple. While he may call upon them whenever he wants, Mario does not actually possess the elements associated with his power-ups, which means that in order for fire to work as a second type, Mario has to be capable of shooting fireballs without a fire flower. So, can he? Well, no. In not a single core series game, Bros or 3D, can Mario shoot fire without a flower. Even in many spin-offs like Mario Kart or the Mario and Luigi series, he needs a fire flower or other item to do so. And so, fire is off the table. Mario will remain a pure normal type. Next up are his base stats, for which I should probably clarify I intend to use those as a general sense of a power scale. I know Pokémon doesn't literally do this. There are Pokémon with high base stat totals who just suck, and those with low base stat totals that are actually really useful. Generally speaking though, canonically strong Pokémon like legendaries have high stats, while weak Pokémon don't. It's thrilling stuff really. As for Mario, almost every single game he appears in that features stats, like the sports games or Mario Kart, depict him as an all-around character who's perfectly balanced to be decent at everything and a master of none. We can directly apply the same idea to his base stats, meaning he will get the exact average in every single stat. That leads to the following. A fully evolved Pokémon has, on average, 80 HP with an attack of 90, defense, special attack and special defense of 83, and a speed stat of 78. Count them all up and you get a base stat total of 497, which puts Mario on equal footing with a powerhouse like Zebstrika, just slightly weaker than the elemental monkeys of Unova. He is one painfully average man for sure. Anyway, with that settled, it's time to move on to the meat of this whole adventure, a full moveset and an ability. Now, in order to preserve the spirit of this challenge, I'm only gonna allow us to introduce either one new signature move or ability for Mario. Otherwise, this next section would just be reading out his moves from Smash or something, and where's the fun in that? So, only one move or ability that does not currently exist in Pokémon. Let's begin with his moveset. On average, a Pokémon learns around 15 moves by level up, so that's how many we're gonna give Mario as well. I've ordered them by level learned, so we can ensure that we have a nice balance in terms of the power of the moves. To start, let's get the moves out of the way based on jumping. That is, after all, Mario's claim to fame, something he's only slightly worse at than his brother Luigi, the true star of the franchise. The move that immediately leads us to is Bounce, which we're gonna put at level 55, and believe it or not, Splash. While the Western media has led you to believe Splash should be for fishy Pokemon only, in Japan the move is known as Hop. The difference in translation is probably due to the fact that in Gen 1 only Magikarp could learn Splash, meaning at the time calling it that made sense. Since then, however, Pokemon that have nothing to do with water have come to learn the move, like Hoppip, Baneri or Spoink, and if it's good enough for Spoink, it's good enough for Mario. Another move that kind of falls into this category is Stomp, which we're gonna slot in at level 40. If I were a world famous actor, I'd probably explain how Mario stomps Koopas regularly, but since I'm not, you're gonna have to figure that one out by yourself. Then there's also Jump Kick, which combines Mario's love for hops with a kicking motion like we've seen in Super Mario 64 and the Galaxy games. These games also have Mario punching, which we're gonna time using pound, and spinning, which points us towards rapid spin. Another move I want to include based on Mario 64 is Circle Throw. Now, this move is based on a judo throw known as Tomo and Nage, using which you toss your opponent over your head when they approach. That's also why the move has a negative priority, for example. While I've never actually seen Mario perform one, I want to repurpose this move to have Mario grab the opponent and spin him around in circles before throwing him, exactly like he does to Bowser in Mario 64. Next up is an entire slew of moves based on Mario's various power-ups, beginning with Ember. This early game move is described as shooting small fireballs, meaning it's a perfect fit for the aforementioned Fire Flower. In a similar vein there's also Ice Ball, which ties in nicely to the Ice Flower, the Wing Cap for Fly, and the Cat Bell for Fury Swipes. Now if you take a quick look at what we have so far, you may notice a lack of status moves, so let's add some of those. The Metal Cap can be represented using Iron Defense, and the Mini Mushroom is a perfect fit for Minimize. With that, we've only got 2 free moves remaining, albeit his most powerful ones. One of those I want to fill in with Hydro Pump, using Flood from Super Mario Sunshine. While there are plenty of water shooting moves in Pokémon, I think Flood's power beats that of a mere water gun. After all, you can fire it with enough power to cause Mario to fly through the air or run at high speeds. And finally, for the last move I want to slot in Gigaton Hammer, the signature move of Tinkaton. Mario has forever been associated with hammers, as I touched on earlier, and looking at the moves that fit that idea, Gigaton Hammer beats Wood Hammer, Crab Hammer or Hammer Arm by a landslide. And with that, we can consider Mario's level up moveset complete. Now, if you've been paying attention, you'll know we haven't used our right to create a signature something for Mario yet. And that's because we're gonna use it on his ability. Like I already made the case for earlier, Mario really doesn't have that many special powers or abilities, so finding an existing one that suited him proved difficult. In fact, creating a new one proved difficult as well, to be honest, but in the end I settled on a new ability I'm calling Power Up, which boosts the power of the effective held items. If anything, this video has made abundantly clear how dependent on items Mario really is, so it would make sense his Pokemon version would be as well. And then finally we have a shiny form left to go. Over the course of his illustrious career, Mario has worn countless different outfits, with Mario Odyssey probably tripling the amount even further. However, since shiny forms are different coloration only, we have to work with variants of Mario's recognizable overalls. And while you could consider coloring him like Luigi, Wario or Waluigi, I think we can't overlook the most iconic of all, Fire Mario. A little boring, maybe? It's basically just his regular colors inverted, but we have no other choice here. There are few alternate colorations in gaming as famous as Fire Mario, it simply has to feature here. And with that, we have completed the Pokemonization of Mario. I hope you like joining me and taking this little thought exercise way too seriously. I would love to make this a regular thing, turning even more characters into Pokemon, so please let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you have any suggestions on who to cover next, feel free to share. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.